have a really cool analogy that I want to share with you. It's going to help you understand a piece of astrology that can be a little complicated, and it has to do with an egg. I had chickens for, I think, 5 years now. They are little dinosaurs, honestly. They still have dinosaur sounds, dinosaur behaviors. I'm totally going to try to get on my head. I mean, they are weird creatures. They're weird creatures. But the symbolism of an egg, it goes really deep into our human collective heritage stories. It's a symbolic thing. It's been playing a symbolic role in cultures and religions, and the shape of an egg. It represents fertility and eternity, and it's the circle of life with no beginning or end. We're going to use this egg to think about the big three in astrology. That's your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant, and the relationship between those three things. So they are the most important first steps to understand yourself through astrology. Almost everybody knows their sun sign, even if they think astrology is a bunch of BS, because what if somebody asks you, hey baby, what's your sign? You need to have an answer ready. It's important that you know that. Just kidding. But the truth is the sun sign's easy to know. Each month of the year, the sun's in one of the 12 zodiac signs. The second one is the moon. That's a little bit harder to track because the moon travels through the whole zodiac in 29 days. So every couple of days it's in a new sign. And the ascendant is the one that needs the most specific information. You need to know when and where you were born in order to get your ascendant. Let's talk about the sun first. Sun is fundamentally important. I've come to understand the sun sign astrology as this foundational nuclear powerhouse principle. It's a purpose. Just like the sun in our solar system brings gravity, life force, it also brings purpose. What is that baseline formation of energy that's coming through foundationally for you? Another thing people say, I don't relate to my sun sign. I'm not a typical Sagittarius, or whatever. Pick your sign. And that's legitimate because there's so much nuance to even a sun sign. Where's the ruler of the sun sign? What house is it in? What aspects is it making? A day chart or a night chart? There's so many layers to uncover with each bit of the chart, but it allows for a lot of diversity, even within the 12 sun signs. And there's 7 billion people on the planet, so can't all be the same. We're all different. The sun is really conveniently resembling a part of our egg. It's the yolk, of course. You might find this interesting, just a little side note. The yolk of the egg is a single cell. And from what I read, an ostrich egg is supposedly the most giant single cell in nature. It can feed like 26 people, one ostrich egg. The moon is the counterpart to the sun, and it functions as an emotional baseline. So the sun is foundational, what you're here, your purpose, what's fueling your fire. The moon is an emotional baseline. So this includes how you feel loved and how you provide love for others, how you comfort others, and how you want to be comforted. It's kind of like a love language. So understanding your moon or somebody else's moon that you know, your partner, your children, or your parents, whatever, understanding that can go a long way to smooth things out with relational stuff. So it's instinct. Moon is instinct. It's underlying behavioral comfort zone. It's cozy. It's the default emotional behavior that we have, and it can be very complicated. Obviously, emotions are complicated, but it's the way we act when nobody is around to impress. In our egg analogy, the moon conveniently represents with its silver, misty whiteness, the clear luminous liquid of the egg, the albumin. So the moon is the egg white that envelops the egg yolk. Now the third part of our big three is the ascendant. The ascendant is sort of misunderstood because I've heard it called the mask so many times.
I'm just looking for my mask.
And it bugs me because it's not a mask. That indicates that it's phony or fake.
Smoking!
And the ascendant is absolutely not either of those things. The ascendant is more like a skin. And we wouldn't get very far without skin, would we? We'd be physically vulnerable. We would dry out really quickly. I mean, it'd be really, we'd look kind of weird. What I usually say is that the ascendant as kind of an operating system, like the way your computer has an operating system or your phone. It's just how everything gets through to express out. It has to go through the ascendant. It's very much who you are at a practical level and how things occur in your life. In our big three egg analogy, the ascendant is represented by the shell of the egg, which holds the yolk and the white inside safely so it can grow and develop and do what it needs to do. The yolk and the white in an egg have the actual same physical dimension of mass. I think that's fascinating. So they're equal. They're worth the same. And that's how the sun and the moon are in astrology. But also, miraculously, it's how they appear to us from Earth, right? The moon and the sun look like they're the same dimensions. And that's how we can get eclipses and the moon can cover the sun. It's purely from our vantage point because obviously the sun is way bigger, but they're equally important in astrology. They do different things, but they're equally important. That's the primordial masculine and feminine energy, the yin, the yang, the in-breath, the out-breath. Equal. The white and the yolk, the sun and the moon, are enclosed, encapsulated by the shell, by the ascendant, which provides a place for the purpose of evolutionary growth in your life to interact with the physical environment. It allows the sun and the moon signs, and pretty much everything else that's in there, to be real and expressed. And to answer the question, the literal question, what came first, the chicken or the egg, the causality dilemma, the experts agree that the egg came first. And they've found that the amniotic egg showed up roughly 340 million years ago. And the first chickens evolved 58,000 years ago. So the egg came first by a landslide. And when we look at this miraculous egg, we can find some potential understanding of our own selves and how these three things can balance. There's so much beauty in each individual chart. What's your foundation? What's your emotional strength? And what's your emotional possible weakness? Where can you find out what kind of vehicle you're driving around to let those things come through? Are they compatible? Are they challenging? So if you're looking for more understanding of your own personal big three, your own egg situation, a good astrologer can help you with that. I want you to know that you are cared for, very much so. And I like you just the way you are. And you know that. Okay, I'll talk to you next time.